Guys, here on Karsch and Anderson mean we swing around the college football country with the NIL 2-minute drill, transfer portal, live animal mascot, trophy game around the country, Blitz thingy. Ready to go?
I'm ready. Sir. Are you guys ready?
We are ready.
I know it's hard to do a coin flip when you aren't in the same room, but did you guys decide who's going to go first?
I'll go first.
Okay.
And Gator, you go first tomorrow when we do the pro one.
All right. Agreement has been made.
Yes.
Here we go. All right, guys. Texas feeling pretty good about themselves. They just beat Oklahoma 49-0. They had a healthy Quinn Ewers at quarterback, but they have 2 losses already. Is it any way possible they can make the playoffs still?
Yes. Yes, it is. First of all, they've got the schedule to get it done. They play Iowa State this weekend, which isn't a bad outfit, but they have 4 ranked teams after that in a row. If Texas goes out and wins those 4 games, closes out the season, wins the Big 12 championship, which I assume is against another ranked team, and wins 5 of 6 against ranked teams, absolutely they should be under consideration, even with the second loss. Over a second team from another conference with 1 loss, they should be under consideration. Considering Quinn Ewers was out, for them to do all that, I think we're going to have to see Ewers play great and understand that Ewers would have made a difference against Texas Tech or would have made a difference against Alabama. And I'm always in favor of strength of schedule being a component and a strong one. So if they do it, more power to them. I don't think they will personally, but if they do it, yeah, I would consider them absolutely.
I mean, look, Texas can win out, and Quinn Ewers has proven himself to be one hell of a quarterback. You mentioned the Alabama game, second game of the year. That's when he got hurt in. They only lost 20-19. It's a 1-point loss to Alabama. That's as impressive as anything else that anybody else has done so far this year. The problem is that they do have the 2 losses. They could win out and still have 2 losses, and you can't ignore it. It'd be awfully hard to see them leapfrogging a team that has 1 loss, particularly if it's a good loss, let alone the fact that you're going to get Alabama or Georgia. One of those 2 teams is likely to be undefeated. Clemson looks like they don't have many roadblocks on their schedule. Michigan's got a big date with Ohio State at the end of the season, so they're going to try to get in as either an undefeated team or a 1-loss team. They've got some big tests ahead of them here, obviously, this weekend, but I just think there's so much – they've got their own heavy lifting to do, and beyond that, other teams, they're going to have to falter as well. So I think it's almost too much to overcome, but, man, if Quinn Ewers was healthy all season, Texas might be the number 1 team in the country right now.
But he wasn't, so they have 2 losses. But with that being said, I do think it's possible because eventually I think a 2-loss team is going to make it. You're right, Gator. Things will have to happen, but that's why they play the games, and it might happen. Rumors are swirling that Oregon and Washington are going to join the Big Ten, B1G, and also Rick Neuheisel think that's going to happen. Is it time to just start thinking about what Big 12 teams can also be rated, or should we just stick with the teams out west?
I do think we don't give enough talk about the Big 12 because of USC and UCLA already committing to join the Big 10. Now you hear this rumor that, Rick Neuheisel's hearing from his people that they tell him that Washington and Oregon are coming as well. We should start thinking about the Big 12 because the Big 12 has some good teams outside of Oklahoma and Texas. I mean, they got a bunch of ranked teams right now. I think it's not too early to start thinking about Oklahoma State or Baylor or Texas Tech or West Virginia or whatever. They need to. They're going to end up adding somebody else other than the 2 other teams from the Pac-12. So, yeah, start thinking about it.
I'm a little torn on this because I love college football's regionality. I love flipping on a game at 10:30, and the moment you see the field, that's Oregon or that's Arizona State. And those games in those regions are still interesting to many people. Now, not as many as there are in the Midwest and the SEC because crowds are pathetic out west. But with what's going on with USC and UCLA, I think the Bruins are going to start getting some support finally because the Rose Bowl with 16,000 fans looks embarrassing. I'm trying to protect regionality. I want the Big Ten and the SEC to stop. And yet, it'd be nice to see some talent added to the Big Ten West because right now Illinois and Minnesota are running the thing. So, who knows? That's just funny in and of itself. But I hope not. I hope the Big 12 and Pac-12 get some merger and we end up with 4 Power 4 conferences.
Yeah, I don't like the just rating and everyone just mixing in together and having these huge super conferences personally. But, yes, you have to be ready to raid the Big 12 because you have to be proactive. You can't be caught off guard. You can't be left behind. So, yeah, as much as I don't like all that stuff, Doug, I agree with you, just having things more regional. That's the way I like college football. You got to be ready or you're going to be, like I said, left behind. All right, we have some great matchups this weekend. Michigan versus Penn State, of course. Alabama, Tennessee, Oklahoma State, TCU. Just a bunch of top 25 teams playing each other. But there also is another possibly big game in the B1G West. It's Illinois hosting Minnesota. Does this game deserve some, some of our, attention as well?
Yes, it's an old school Big Ten showdown if you look at what these two teams do. Minnesota likes to run the ball. Illinois is the nation's leading rusher. Minnesota possesses the ball for 38 minutes a game on average. Number 1 in the Big Ten. Illinois is number 2, 34 minutes a game. Minnesota's third down conversion rate, 70%. Number 1 in the country. Their opponent's third down conversion rate, 18%. Also number 1 in the country. Chase Brown, Illinois running back, leads the nation in rushing. This game has 17-14 written all over it. These two teams are number 1 and 2 in the country in scoring defense. This feels like a game right out of the 70s, and I'm here for it.
I love it. I love the idea that this game finally means something. When was the last time that we could say Illinois played a big game? I mean, seriously, it's been forever since Illinois got to play in a big game. So to know that this game this weekend means something, that the Big Ten West is trying to throw something together, okay, let's see it. It looks like Wisconsin might be surging now because of the change in head coach. Obviously, they bombed their opponent last week. They got a chance to bomb Michigan State on the road this week. But I want to see what Illinois and Minnesota can do. These are two head coaches, in Brett Bielema and P.J. Fleck, that everybody knows. Everybody knows these guys can coach. Are they going to be coaching these teams 3 years from now? That's an interesting question. Maybe that should have been another football question we had.
Next week.
The last time Illinois played a big game, Gator, was with Luther Head D. Brown and Darren Williams on the team. March Madness. Yeah, no, Illinois, they don't play big games. You know why, guys? Unless you're a Big Ten nerd like you two, this game don't matter. Did you hear the other games I referenced? I'm sorry, man. My attention is elsewhere this weekend. UCLA is 6-0, getting great play from their quarterback. Good running game from former Wolverine Zach Charbonnet. They're coming off an impressive wins over Washington and Utah. Their showdown before Thanksgiving against USC at the Rose Bowl determined who gets to represent the Pac-12 for the college football playoff.
I'm reluctant to fully embrace UCLA, and yet there's no reason why you shouldn't fully embrace UCLA. They have a hell of a quarterback. They have a hell of a running back. They seem to be really playing together and for each other. They've blown out their they haven't blown out, but they've put up over 40 points each of the last couple weeks. I like what UCLA has done. USC is the shiny new thing out there. They've got the hotshot coach. They've got the hotshot quarterback, all these transfer portal players that they raided from Oklahoma last year. It's tough to think that USC isn't the team, and yet Pac-12 does what the Pac-12 does. I think it's too early for USC to be penciling in there. I'm going to give UCLA a real chance in this one.
Yeah, USC's got a huge game at Utah this Saturday night and a nationally televised game. God, this Saturday's a great schedule. But with that said, they're both playing a little bit of defense. Not a lot, but a little. USC and UCLA are both in the top 50 in the country in scoring defense and total defense. This is Pac-12 football, and that is unusual. So I like the brand of football they're playing. They're not great defensive teams, don't get me wrong, but they're not horrific now. And I think the Bruins coming to life is a cool story. And there's nothing to dislike about UCLA. The only thing is nobody shows up at their games, and that's kind of sad.
That is true.
But that one they will, right?
You would think, but you don't know, man. I mean, have you seen the crowds out there?
No, you don't know. But maybe if the Dallas Cowboys can bring some of their fans to Pasadena.
I mean, Troy Aikman was ripping them, and he's one of their most famous, best alums. But the Pac-12 is so hard to read. if you make me, my 51 says yes. The winner of this game is going to represent the college football playoff for the Pac-12, but I don't feel super confident about it. I think it's just that conference is hard to read. Really quick here, guys. They've both had some close games as of recent. Alabama, Georgia, are they actually vulnerable this year?
Yep, especially Bama. If Bryce Young doesn't play this weekend, I'm taking the checkerboard end zone to pull off the upset there at Tennessee. Jalen Milroe is talented, but you can see their guys have gone from being elite to something a little bit less than that. I think Tennessee beats Bama if Bryce Young doesn't play. If Bryce Young does play, I think it's a coin flip. That place is going to go crazy. You mentioned earlier, when's the last time Illinois played a big game? When's the last time Tennessee played a game at home this big? I think it's going to be a very difficult environment for Bama. And Tennessee's 0 for Saban, right? They've never beaten a Saban team. So I think the first one comes this weekend.
Wow. I hear what you're saying about the quarterback situation. I just wonder if having another week of practice for Milroe, if that makes a difference for him where things start to click. Obviously, that team can run the football. I mean, Jahmyr Gibbs is outstanding. And Alabama, I think they're getting better. I think Texas A&M is getting better too. That's why the game was closer last week than maybe people expected it to be. But I don't see Tennessee getting it done this weekend, even though I'm a Hendon Hooker guy. I just don't see it this weekend.
The simple answer is yes. I think that you fly close to the sun enough. I think other teams see that, and you're right. They get up big, and they don't just seem as the monster programs they've had in the past. I know you've been on that Georgia's going to lose this year, Doug, and I kind of start to agree with you here.
We'll see. I've gotten blasted for that bold-ass prediction. And that concludes the NIL 2-minute drill, transfer portal, live animal mascot, trophy game around the country, Blitz thingy.